Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Let's turn down some of my music. Alright, let's get this on the go. Welcome back. We are continuing the build of the Yolopark. Shockwave is taking a while, I know. Not taking as long as the RG High New Gundam though. It took a little longer. But hopefully we can get his left arm done today. Let's find where I was. Okay. Left arm, the next arm. Get all the parts I need. G4. G411. And K3. K31. Is probably early for a lot of you, 10 o'clock in the morning. Or you've got things to do, you're busy, which is fine. I will be quite busy this afternoon. Help out father-in-law with his business. Interesting. Ah, there we go. Just have to use some brute force in my teeth to get that into place. Okay, next I need the metal piece. F. Which is that piece there. Okie dokie, alright, this is gonna go on. Just goes in there like so. Cool. Right. And then G6. G4, G2. Okay. G5, G6. And number 5 I need over here. so. Like that. Then I need G5, G6 again. G6, 13. That one there. G5, 1. Okay. If I can get this left arm done, and then we can also start on a leg. The reflective properties of this paper makes it hard to look at anything else. Just got to click in there like so it hinges. Right. And that goes through there like so. And pushes in there. Like so. Just like that. Okay. Then I need G5 3. Which is over here. Okay. Gotta try and remember what this bar was for. This was E323. Okay. Just so I know. Oops. On the floor that goes. According to this, it goes like that. Right. It goes on like that. And then G5, 6. Okay. And it goes on there, like so. Right, next page. So we're on to G3. Could be G5, G6 up here for now, because I won't need them again later. So G3, 16, which is that one there. Okay. That goes on this side. Like so. Come on. Don't mess me around now. So a little bit here goes into the back of that. Like that. Then need H1. I'd have to make just K's, but that'll do. They're all E's there. Cool. Right, so I need what, H1, don't I? Yeah, H1. And 7. There we go. Okay, H17. And that goes on there like so. Like that. Awesome. Cup of tea. That's a lot better. Right. That's that bit done. Yep, done that. Done all that. Then it's G69. Oops. Stay on that. G3, G5, G6. That's a G69. Oops. There we go. Okay. Right, and that goes on. No, there's a good one now. So looking at it that way, it goes on there. It pops in there. Like so. That way the whole shoulder bit moves like that. Cool. Oh, always forgetting that bit there. Gotta cut that off. Just so it goes better. Together better. There we go. Yeah. Looking good. And then 18. There's this piece here. Okay. That way, and that goes in the top there. Like so. Alright, and then for the last of a G5 by the looks of it. Yep, last one G5, number 9. There you go, one empty sprue. Over there it goes. To where I don't care. There we go. It's weird that you get all this detail on the top. All that detail. And it's hidden. Underneath. Everything. This lies just in there. Forever hidden away underneath a bunch of other detail. G621, which is over here. Goes that way. It goes on those bits there, like so. And then A2. 3, four, A1, A2. There we go. There it is. So I think the shoulder and the upper arm's got the same as his right arm, but from his elbow down it's completely different. There goes that. How does this go on? So it goes on that way. Like so. Makes it look like another drive shaft part. It goes nowhere. Cool. That all squished together. That's that bit done. Over there it goes. Then onto here. Okay. Put you over there for now, because I need you. Right, that's that sprue dead. Getting to a point where I'm getting dead sprues, which is good. See how big this build is. Right, 3, 7. This is 7. That goes over top. Then 11 and 10. So 11. And then 10. Okay. First things first, this one. It goes in. So you've got to be ever so careful with this because those bits are really flimsy. Like little bits that they clip on here are absolutely fragile. But yet it works. I don't know how, but it just does. And then the next one underneath it. Like so. Yep. Cool. And then we need this one over here. Another lead sprue. Okay. Okay, one. This one here. Let's make it another dead sprue, which is great. So that fits in there like so. Gotta really push it down so it gets in there. And then H3. I want one, which is there. Cool. And that goes in like so. Clicks just in there nicely. Cool. Then I want number 30 from H3, which is this piece. This is number 31. But I said 30. Never mind. They're the same piece. There we go. It goes in like so, into there like that, and then this goes on there like so. So yeah. Next page. What is going on here? Seems to be something stuck between the pages and I can't find it. Oh well. Okay, onto this fancy mechanism here. So I need G's for now. Nope. A3 and A2. There's A2. And there's A3. Cool. So I'll start with A2. Get number 5 out. There it is. I'm done. 14 and 19 first. And there's 19. And there's 14. So that's the left side of it. And 16 and 15 the other side. There we go. Right. I'll come back to that later. Let's get these sorted first. Right. So, how this goes together. It is tricky. So it goes in there like so. That then goes in there. This goes on top. Let's see now. This goes on that one. Like so. And then this goes on there. Sandwiching everything, because once it's together, when it goes together, there we go. So once it's together, this then not only is it on the inside of this piece, but it's also on the outside. So when you squeeze it together, see, it goes over the top like that. Which shows you to do here. Just put that to one side. It's not needed for a while. Right. And the next metal piece, which is E. So after this is just a couple of springs left, which are for the legs, I believe. So we need that. We need K3. So what do I put my K's? Where are my K's? The E's. There it is. K3. I need 2 and 8. There's 2. And 8. There we go. To one side for now. Okay, so that's like that. That goes that away. It goes on so. Oh, come on. Sometimes it's tricky to get these plastic bits into the metal bits. I have to use a bit of force. Mostly I use my teeth, but if in doubt, pair of pliers. This is squeaky. And then just move it about a bit, just loosen it up a little. And then that goes on there. So some of these fits are very tight. Very tight. But it does mean they're going to be stiff, which means they're not going to be too bad when it comes to movement. A6 right there. So I need number 3. There it is. And so A6 just sits like so, just sits there. And then get the last K3 here. Not this brute. Okay. So that just tacks on like so. Like that. And clonks in like that. You then need A3. Looks like the last bit's on A3, which is good. 30 and 27. Well, it's still 26 here. So 27's for right. 30's for the left. I do have A323 over there too. Do some shaving down with a scalpel. There we go. And now I need this bit. So it goes on there like so. And that pops in there like that. And that does the same on the other side. There we go. Now that's one unit. Put that down over there. Then we need to do all this next. So H3. 8. There's this piece here. And then I need G4. G4 6, which is this one here. And F2. Is this one. This one down there. So I need 3. Which is out there. And 4. There we go. Let's get these off. Get them off and get them sorted, cleaned up. Right, got that far, got that piece first, and then we want that piece, so that piece goes in there. Or does it go in there? Not good. It goes in there, and then that closes in on it, like so. Just like that, and then that goes into here, like so. So we've got like a sliding joint. Alright, and then that bit here plugs into there, like that. So yeah, cool. So that's that bit done so far. And it does all that. Now the next page where I have to bend it open. Right, so I've got to bend it. Let's see. So it goes like that. That like that. Yeah, so it has to be like that. And then we just get G. Which doesn't have a number. It's just called G. There it is. The only sprue that hasn't got a number. And it's just G. Right. I need 9 and 10, which are these two here. These two chunky bits. So I think they add, because a lot of this is based similar on the Optimus Prime kit. So I reckon they've just added this as a separate piece completely. Okay, so we've got these pieces. Alright, so that piece goes in there, and that piece goes in there, apparently. Something like that. So then I should be able to just do that. So that's how that elbow bit works. Like so. Cool. Alright. Then we're on to this bit here. So G3. So I need number 8, which is this big piece over here. A lot of big chunky pieces to this arm. Cool. Did an H1. That's 3. There's 1. H1 13 and 16. Which are these two? Okay, let's clean these pieces up. And these ones here. Right. So they click in. Like so, apparently. Yeah, like that. There we go. So there's like a little hole all the way in there. Then gotta get this little peg in there somehow. Kind of a pain, but it can be done. There we go, see? Slides in there. Like little disc brakes. Okay, there is a certain way this will go on. So looking at it like that, this goes like that. Like so. And then H2 has this big piece. Those look a bit ugly. It's because this plastic's slightly metallic in nature. So yeah, so even if I remove, because it's no longer raised, it's now flush with the rest of the plastic. But because of how the plastic is. Hello Aok, how are you? How long you been there? How you doing? How's life? Over on the other side of the world. Must be getting late over there. Oh, it's not too bad. So you're about mid-evening, it's mid-morning here. That's alright. Yeah, those, unless I paint this, those are never going away due to the nature of this plastic. I've been asking my friends on what nippers to buy. Oh, well, it depends, I reckon. I have God hands here, so at the moment I'm using 2 different pairs of God hands. These are the wire snips, which I use for the big chunky bits, and these are the, you know, the usual known God hands, the SBN 120s. However, it doesn't really matter, because I've got these cheap nips. And people are like, buy God hands, and people are telling me don't because it could break. Yeah, so it all depends on how you use your snippers. Your nippers, your snips, or whatever. I know them as snips because my electronic days is on aircraft. But so these are just a cheap pair I got that came with my 3D printer. And well, these are hobby tool. So these are Mishima. This is happening again this week. Yeah. So you can buy these. If you just want a cheap pair just to cut stuff off, just buy a cheap pair like this. You can get God hands. Spend what, the 8,000 yen on them, if not more. And the reason why they snap on a lot of people is because they misuse them. If you watch Gundam Fan, he knows he misuses them. A lot of people use these snips, go, oh, these must be great snips because of God hand and everything, and then start cutting these big chunky bits of plastic with these. They're not designed for that at all, and that's why they break so easily. So you get a pair of God hands, you technically need 2. So you get this. So what these are called, like anchor snips or one blade snips, and they're basically designed for taking off the little bits of remainder nub. That's what they're designed for. Whereas you want to taking stuff off a sprue, you need something chunky. So I use these wire cutter snips from God Hand, but you don't need to use God Hands for that. But again, as well, as like before I got these, I used to use these GW snips, kind of dead now. They don't even, the springs died in them. So I use these, cut them off the sprue, and then I'd use a knife to clean up the nub. It's all about preference, and all about how to properly use a tool that you buy. Like I said, a lot of people buy these God hands, I think that's all they need, and then misuse them, and that's why they break. People misusing them. Even though it says in the instructions on these, when you get these, there's instructions on the back of the packaging saying how to use these damn things. And people still don't do it. So yeah. Buy God hands if you want. You don't need to, though. I just got them because I can buy them, because I can afford it. Like with all tools, it all depends on what you can afford. So yeah. Get God hands if you want, but you don't need to. They're not essential. Oops. I was like, oh, the whole thing, elitist thing, where you must have these snips, you must have these tools. She said, no, you don't. You don't. It's whatever makes you feel comfortable. Especially if you're starting off, you don't want to spend like, well, I paid 50 quid for mine, but 8,000 yen on a pair of snips, and then not know how to use them properly and break them. Alright. But yeah. F3. I'm guessing I'll be thinking of what to get for another week, maybe. Yeah, like I said, it's all down to what you want. What you're going to do with them, how you're going to use them. Because there's tons of snips for different things. I'm okay with price if it's going to last. Yeah, like I say, if you use these properly, they will last. Like any pair of snips, if you misuse them, they're going to blunt and break. Any pair of snips will do that, not just God hands. There's like, I have a selection here actually. So I got big chunky snips when I need to like get real chunky stuff. These are just cheap things I got from a DIY store. I got like proper like nail clipper snips as well that I use sometimes if I need to get stuff off. But then again, I'm a hobbyist who does a range of things. So I work with from plastic to metal to wires to electronics. So I've got a range of snips I need to do stuff with. This is a problem when you go down tools or tool route. You start collecting tools. Trust me. Where's my pen? So yeah, so there we are. So yeah, so this is my tool and paintbrush station. Just the amount of paintbrushes I have alone for all the different things I do. And all the pliers and snips I use, scissors. I've got stuff hanging up in places. Like just behind my cloth here is a pair of scissors and a saw blade for some of those thick wires. So it all depends on what you're going to do with your tools. Like for cutting plastic card in certain angles and that, I got these. Again, it's all down to what you're willing to spend, how much you're going to get into the hobby. So I would say to start off with, is get a pair of thick, chunky snips with dual blade. Get a cheap pair, and then once you're comfortable with using those kind of snips and then using a blade to take off bits of what's left, then all sanding it down, then think about buying a pair of these. So I've been model making for nigh on 20 years properly. I used to do it when I was a kid on and off, but when I was a teenager I really got into model making, and I've used snips like this for most of those years. It's only for the last 3 years I've been using these. So I've been getting along fine without these snips. So if you're looking to, if you want to do this a lot, then get a decent pair of tools. If you're only going to do things here or there, and if you're only going to work on like HGs and EGs and stuff like that, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Don't need to go all out. And there are other companies who sell. Okay, thanks for your opinion. That's fine, yeah. I'm happy to give my opinion on a lot of things. There are other companies who sell snips like this, like Despy and stuff like that. And basically, if you want to, you don't need to buy these God hands. There are other companies who make snips that have got one blade and an anchor on the other side, or anvil as they call it, because these here are anvil snips. So yeah. Don't want, everyone's going to say, everyone who's a gunpla builder, oh, get God hands are the best, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but are they really? I used to just use a knife. Honestly. I used to take everything off a sprue with a knife. And then scrape all the nubs off with a knife. And that was it. That's all I ever did. Right, I need F310. Nice. Okay, so that's why, 'cause I'm doing it wrong side. Silly me. There we go, that's better. Doing it the wrong way. Right. F320. There it is. I'll try pan lining. A friend that taught me how to do it, recommended me buying Aqueous, so I did. Then he told me to buy dishwashing soap. I was like, are you sure? There are a lot of ways to panel line. A lot of ways. And because I don't normally panel line. It's not a thing I do. Because I'm a hand painter. I'm not an airbrusher. And if I do touch a kit, I'd rather paint it than wash it. And it worked. Yeah. Yeah. So you panel line with the Aqueous and then dishwasher soap, I think, all the excess off. Which is always fun. At 1.4, he was trolling me. Yeah, it's weird. So I was like, I watched a YouTube recently. I can't remember the name of the YouTuber now, off the top of my head. And he was saying he showed a quick and lazy way to panel line. And what he did, get my Gundam markers. So he would get a, where is it? Which one was it? So yeah, he would get one of these pens. One of these ones. With a nib like that. You would then just spot it in areas and use the capillary effect to get it around. And then he'd take one of these eraser pens and dab it on a cloth. And then just wipe. So yeah, use a flat black aqueous and use a dishwasher soap as a thinner, so it makes the paint oily. Yeah, it's great. That's a really good way of doing it. Probably the cheapest way. Because I guess mix into a power line. Yeah. Probably more clean. What I tend to use, where I put it. If it's in here. Well, everything's gone. That's liquid silver, I don't want that. So I brought some of this MIG panel line wash, and I use I can wipe any parts after with the same soap. Yeah, it's great. That is a really good way of doing it. But I started using this with a fountain pen. You get a fountain pen in it and you dab it on somewhere. I don't know where that fountain pen's got to. But yeah, so that's a really good way of doing it. Because I think that's one of the main problems with when you're painting a kit, say you're using matte paints and you want a panel line. Because it's not oily, you know, it's not like pure, like normal plastic's got like a gloss sheen to it, so stuff can run along it a lot better. Whereas this doesn't. And then using soap mixed with aqueous does help with it being run a lot better. Plus, when it dries, it's a lot hard, you know, a lot. It stays. It doesn't wear off like a lot of Gundam pens and other inks do. But no, it's definitely a good way of doing it. In there, like so. Like that. So it sits on top. You told me that regular power line paint cracks the plastic. Yes. So if you're not careful, so like in the Gundam markers, if you use them on ABS, they will crack. Doing a power line that way, it doesn't crack, so it's easier. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, I think that's one of the flaws with a lot of the power line stuff you get. Because of what it's made from. It eats away at the plastic. Yeah, and it can make it crack. Yeah. Which I was quite surprised that why would they give you a product that's not made for the plastic. It's weird. Right. Where did that go? This is not exactly forthcoming with information sometimes. Son of a gun. There. It goes in there like that. No, dishwashing soap in my toolkit. Yeah. No. Definitely. You'd be surprised what things you can use for tool bits and stuff like that. It is quite, and people don't realise, especially the help, like dishwasher soap, stuff like that. Ooh. I think one of my main tools that people don't realise to get is a hairdryer. Because main reason I use a hairdryer these days, sometimes it helps make the plastic a little bit more malleable, so it's easier to push onto places and get over things. Also, it helps dry paint quicker. Yeah, ways that people can make a kit. There are so many different ways, so many different things. A lot of people just don't realise. It's like, makeup brushes. It reminds you that this is an art. It is, yeah. Makeup brushes. Multiple uses of this chewed because my dog. Multiple ways a makeup brush is used. You know, adding blush to figures that you're building, or adding a different type of what's it called? Different texture to a model, or even like I use it for dusting my figures or my Gundam. A part separator. A good part separator is always handy if you need to take apart a kit. When you put something on wrong, you need to take it apart quickly. One of these, this is one of my favourites, new additions, is a linear sander, which is hard to get here in the West. I had to import this from Japan. This is great for doing panel art, you know, if you have to do meld and stuff. So if you have a like two parts that join together and you need to do a seam fill. I use, like, some people use super glue. I just use plastic glue, fill it out with a bit more plastic, and just hit it with that linear sander. Just takes it right off. It's great. Saves a lot of time instead of having to use hands all the time. The only reason I don't use it on the stream is because it's so noisy. And it's great for resin. Go with resin a lot quicker. But yeah, when you get into painting, I use, got a lot of stuff in the way here. So I use one of these. I thought there'd be more tools in the US. Maybe in the US. I'm in the UK, and we don't have a certain amount of tools, which is weird. It's like with linear sander, you cannot find that anywhere in the West. Even in the US, you cannot find a linear sander. But it's like this here. This is my paint shaker, which I had to modify and take that out because it wouldn't work otherwise. But a lot of companies sell paint shakers, and you're talking about 40, 50 quid for something that shakes your paints. This is a nail varnish shaker I brought for a £5 off Amazon. So about 3,000, not even that, it's like 1,500 yen. And it's for nail varnish. So if you want extra tools that are cheap, look into like nail stuff, like nail varnish shakers, nail varnish tools. Like the sanding tools you get for doing your nails with are great for working on figures. So yeah. And stuff like beauty tools and that, makeup brushes, they're all pretty good for what you need them to do. God, bloody hair everywhere. So definitely, like I'll have a look around, and not everything that, because most of the time you'll see a company sell something ridiculous for a ridiculous price, saying it is a hobby thing, but you probably could find the same thing elsewhere doing a different kind of job. It's like there's another thing I had to import from Japan, because we don't have it here, is for dish rack dryers, which you bound to know what they are. We don't have anything like that here in the UK. Nothing like a dish rack dryer. Nothing electronic. We have dish racks, but not dryers. And so I brought one from HobbyLink and imported it in for drying when I airbrush stuff or spray can stuff, to dry it quicker. So there's a lot of things that you can utilize that are not advertised as such. Yes, it was building where I lived. Yeah. Japan had need to buy it after. I see, yeah. So I can see how that is. Yeah. Yeah, so I do have a dishwasher, just dish dryers. There's so much stuff that in Japan they have tools for that we don't have here in the UK, and I don't see why we don't. Because like in Japan, you have compact dishwashers that are tiny and they just sit on top of it for kitchen side, and we don't have small stuff in UK, and especially in America. We don't sell miniaturized things. So like I know in Japan there are plenty of electronics and stuff like that are miniaturized to fit in smaller spaces, whereas here we don't. And it's like, why don't we? That kind of stuff is useful here. It help a lot of people out, and usually a lot cheaper than the actual bigger products. It's like a lot of people, because of how old some of our houses are, we don't have the space for a dishwasher. Or the kitchen is too old, doesn't have a space for a dishwasher, fridge, washing machine. And then Japan has got these little tiny things that just fit on top of the counter. And it's like, that'd be perfect here. Wouldn't have to remodel the whole kitchen just to fit something in. Right, that part. Hit that part there. It's like another thing I really want from Japan that we don't have here at all is those, I can't remember what they're called, but they're the tables with the cloth over the top and the heater on the inside. We do not have any of those here. We should. Especially with our current cost of living crisis. It would be a huge help. Oops. Heated tables, yeah. Wish we had them here. But alas, we do not. Our country's weird. Seemingly like it's cold here most of the bloody time. Yeah, we have heated blankets, but that's about it. Now I know what you're talking about, yeah. But again, we, on the West, it's not normal to sit on the floor. At all. It's like if you come into someone's living room, there's always chairs and stuff, and there's no, like, mats to sit on or anything like that. Everything's elevated. It's probably half the reason why we don't have that kind of stuff. It's like that. So 1, 2. Oh, figure out about that. Old Japanese houses were elevated. True. That is very true. Yeah, a lot of our houses weren't. So we have our tier, yeah, just elevate the whole house. That makes sense. Oh. No shit, gee. Probably to deal with floods. Yeah. It makes sense. We as a country are a bit terrible when it comes to floods. We don't. Because a lot of our houses are built on floodplains and marshland. And we still don't elevate them. They're on the floor, yeah. That makes sense. When it floods, we need things to be elevated. So yeah. But Western, Eastern houses are built completely differently. Even though we are prone to flooding, that we've always built like the houses floor up, and it's always been made out of stone. You see, our stuff. Whereas I know a lot of Japanese buildings have been wood. And benefits from both types of living. Right, now we got to just deal with this part here. Yeah, I always still believe that Japan does a lot of things a lot better than we do. No matter what anyone says. The work culture is a bit not what I say good for your health, but Other things, alright. But yeah, I can rant on all day about what Japan does better than the rest of the world, and vice versa. Yeah, you've been through that. Yeah, yeah. I'd expect it to be difficult for you in Japan, because then you are an outsider, technically. Now I'm promoting all talk back to me. Yeah. And it's the same. My uncle moved to China, of all bloody places. But yeah, he says it's the same there in China. They're all smiles and that to your face, but they don't like outsiders. Quite xenophobic, unfortunately. Had to eat rice every day in work. It's not too bad. I don't mind rice myself. Five and six. Cool. I got criticised really badly when I don't eat rice. The problem is, as well, rice isn't all that good for you, from my experience. Japanese rice not good for you. Oh god, I can just imagine. Yeah. What's your timing work? Like I said, I like a good bowl of rice, seasoned just nicely. It tastes really good. I can do all the time. I reckon they're pulling your leg half the time. Does your workplace have to do morning exercise as well? I bet you're expected to work all goddamn hours of a day as well. I forgot. Oh no, complains to me. I bet they don't. You eat whatever you want now. Does your promotion bring you an office of your own? Or are you still in the cubicle? Ah, that's good. Yeah, it's nothing like having your own office. That's why I enjoy working from home. I can eat whatever I want. Just rock up with a KFC. Stink out the office. Right. I haven't done that, but now I could. It is weird in some places. The worst thing you could ever do is microwave a tuna or microwave broccoli. That stuff stinks. I have to work with weird stuff though. Really? What is it you do for a job? I've had some weird jobs. Had a phone call from my workplace. Alright. It's annoying when you get a phone call outside of work. Stay in there. Come on. My men came to work on their day off. Okay. That's weird. Again, it doesn't surprise me. He got food poisoning and came to work because he wanted our company to pay for his medical bill. And refused to go to the hospital. Oh, that is odd. You don't hear that often. What should we do? Sod him off. Yeah, it's... Sometimes some people just don't show initiative. It's weird. I would just call the ambulance. What are you doing here? Yeah, some people just can't do unless they're told. Definitely was an odd one, yeah. I'm lucky in my workplace. As soon as I finish work, I turn everything off, even my phones, so they can't get hold of me. Not my problem when I'm not working. I had to go to work just for that. God damn. Yeah, I would have told him where the other bit was. And I would have refused. I would have just straight up refused coming to work. But that's me. It goes that way, it goes that way. It goes on. Like so. There we are. Finally. I'm getting somewhere. Perfect. Yeah, I would not have turned up to work. Was he? I don't know what he was expecting. What happened if he keeled over? Work of all places. Again, it's a bit different here in the UK. We have free healthcare, so. So all the pieces I've built so far, this is the only piece that isn't detailed. Loads of little detail pieces make up one big one. Jesus. The main part of my job is just taking responsibility to what happens. Yeah. When you're a manager, yeah. That does happen. You're more of a fall guy if anything goes wrong. At least you got your promotion. That's the main thing. I've been temporary promoted multiple times. That's why they do temp promotions, or TCA. And then you be a manager for a bit, and then when they don't need you, they bunk you back down to be standard office worker. But still expect you to do all the work you did when you were a manager. It is ridiculous. If everything's fine, then I can just say I don't feel like working. Don't have to go to work. But when there's a problem, I have to go. Oh, that's not too bad. It could be worse. I'm a contracted home office worker. So I have to. So I still work every day. Like, usual. Thursday, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. But I work from home. I can do everything I used to do in the office from my home office. And it's just a lot easier. Especially because I'm a full-time carer on top of it. So because of my contract, they can't make me go anywhere. Okay, that's that so far. To be fair though, I am not enjoying what my bosses are doing. They are completely buggering up this country, so I tend not to try and do my best work. I do try and help the people I need help though. Members of the public that need the help. But my bosses don't make it easy. I'm pretty much the highest ranked in my area. Well, that's pretty cool. I work with people who are very high ranked. Like, and my dad's very high ranked, but in the same job I do. However, well, his is more different than mine. He works in the military. I work with the civil service. But yeah, I'm technically the lowest grade. There is a grade below me, but there's not many of them. But I work alongside and with and for a lot of people that are a lot higher up than a lot of others. So I find out a lot of stuff. Anytime I have a boss is when I have to go to Tokyo. But in my area, everyone works under me. And that's not bad to be like that. They never make this easy. Oh. Get in there. The only time I have to put up to someone is when I have to go to my customer's company. Alright, yeah. That makes sense. There we go. Luckily, most of my customers are the general public. I just had to send them an email. But I do have to talk to other departments. It's only because of my expertise. We don't have funny enough, we don't have many IT, what's the word? IT tuned, IT knowledgeable people within our departments at all. So I'm one of the few people who can actually do a lot of the stuff on computers and video editing and all sorts of other stuff that for some reason no one else can do, even at higher grades. So a lot of them have to rely on me and come along and do work for them. Like, we had a jobs event fair and I had to make a video for that for them. And some teams I helped with their spreadsheets. For some reason their managers just don't know how to do it. Same thing happening here. Yeah. The only time, it's like recently, last year, I helped, because we took on a new team in our department, complete new team, bunch of people who didn't know what they were doing from their old team. The previous manager didn't really care about them, so just lumped them with us. And so I helped. I got temporary management status, and I helped onboard the team, get them more used to how we do things and our systems and all that. And then they hire a manager to take over, and she don't know anything she's doing at all. And she's constantly coming back to me when I'm still trying to do my main job. It's like you've been hired as the manager for this team, and yet you yourself don't know what you're doing. And it's like, wow. Wow. Instead of giving me a promotion, they hire someone who don't know anything. Which is going to suck for them because I'm moving teams at the beginning of April. Doing something else. So they're going to be left floundering by themselves as I move on. You know, it's all fun and games. I have to keep on top of so much stuff these days. Well, I only stream twice a week, so many times I can stream. Due to work and other commitments and being a carer. They're not getting paid the right wages. God, that's another whole kettle of bullfish. There we go. That's that bit done. Whew. Alright, number 10. There we go. Main part of my promotion is that they couldn't trust other people working in my workplace. Yeah. And that's what it comes down to half the time. My place is all down to favoritism. It was like the boss's son started working with us. They only been working with us for a year and they got promoted over other people who've been working there for 6 or 7 years. It's like I went for a TCA, another temp management job, and didn't get it because someone else who had been working there less than me is pally with the boss. I hate internal politics. Does my head in. It just shows that if a company can't trust their own workers who are native, and they have to trust someone from a different country, it just goes to show. Because I know it's very hard to get promotion when you work in a Japanese workplace, if you're not Japanese. I think that's one of the things that a lot of Westerners, especially a lot of kids, don't realise about Japan. It's romanticised a lot because of anime and manga and stuff like that, and the media we consume from over there. They don't see the actual proper size. I work with a lot of security for my workplace. Yeah, which is, again, I've done a lot of secret work. In my lifetime. From military to government. And they're just very scared someone in my position just going to use that info to make money. Yeah. Yeah. Which is surprisingly, they show, they trusted someone else out, not Japanese. Because there is a stigma of foreigners over there. Especially ones that are from states. I know you're from Hawaii, but still technically a state of America. But yeah. It goes to show you made quite a good impression on them if they can trust you. Yeah, I find that a bit disturbing, especially with a lot of youngsters these days, that they all romanticize and all want to move to Japan and do this and do that in Japan. And it's like, you do realize it's very difficult for Westerners to do anything in Japan, job-wise and living-wise. Because of the stigmas. Or romanticize Japan as this perfect place with no flaws, and anything like that. It does my head in, really. Finding a place to live is hard to start with. Yeah, exactly. My uncle has only just been able to buy his own place. In China, it's just, they've only just allowed him. And he's been there for years. But yeah, people need to do more research before they think they know what they're talking about. I wouldn't mind visiting Japan. I couldn't live there. Not just, unable to be able to learn their language. But it's just, if work culture, if old culture is just completely different. Relationships in Japan is hard. Yeah, I bet. I can guess. It's like, who's that VTuber? There's a VTuber. Can't remember her name now off the top of my head, but she's half Japanese. And she gets so much stick for just being half Japanese. Yeah. Something I find with the Japanese is that they're great to visit. They're very hospitable. They're very nice people when you're visiting. You're not, but if you live there and you're not Japanese, it's a lot different. As you well know. A lot more people need to realise that. Alright. That's that bit done. Oops. Oh, so much time. Yeah. Which side are you going to be on if you get in a war? It's funny they talk about that. Get in a war. They're not even allowed a military force. Let alone... They got the defence force, but that's about it. For there to be anything... For them to do anything in a war, they have to be able to be allowed an army first. I don't think China's ever going to let that happen. I think at the moment, us in the West are too busy trying to keep Putin in line. You don't have to worry about any other nation. A lot of young people are a lot more polite and open-minded. That's it. This is a thing, and it's the same with my generation, your generation, is that because how we've grown up, what we've grown up with, it's quite evident if you just look at the governments of each country as well, of the people who run it. Older folk are so stuck in their ways, and they can't think outside the box. So they're not as tolerable, they're not as understanding, they're less likely to give you a lending hand because of they're so stuck in post-war ways. Even though it was like 60 years ago. Future of Japan is probably way better. Yeah, the future will be better. I think that would be for a lot of countries. A lot of the youngsters are a lot more open-minded. There are a lot of idiots still. You see them all on TikTok. But yeah, there is hope. Thankfully, that people will get along better, be more open-minded to other cultures and such. I know the Japanese youth are very interested in British culture, which has always been a thing in Japan, really, British culture. But yeah. So yeah, hopefully a better future. I think the internet is somewhat helpful in that part with youngsters. Because we've grown up with the internet and that. We've grown up seeing and hearing other cultures. Whereas our parents and their parents haven't really. Unless you're my dad. He's travelled everywhere. Got himself an MBE and everything. Bloody bugger. Yeah, I hope we all get along better. Yeah, I do too. I'd rather have a future where everyone gets along a lot better than they do now. Where do I have to have constant arguments? Problem is, no matter what happens, there's always going to be conflict in some way or another. Be it like nation against nation or fandom against fandom. It's just annoying. It's like I just hate how people, Western companies like Crunchyroll or Funimation butcher translations and put their own spin and it just gets my head in. How they think that they can put their own agendas on a piece of work that's not theirs. Alright, let's get this done. want to get this arm done, so don't worry about it next time. We mean that it's like the Japanese Gundam fans. We mean that by saying in Gundam, if we all understand each other, we get along. Exactly, yeah. I think out of a lot of fandoms I know of, and I'm a part of, the Gundam fandom is one of the most welcoming. One of the most, you know, they all respect each other. They all have their own opinions on certain things, but they respect each other. They respect each other's opinion. They don't just joke about it. Yeah, we talk about Zeta, and even if we understand each other, war never ended. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's just the Gundam and the Gunpla community is just so much better than a lot of the other fandoms and communities I know of. It's just better. We don't argue. We don't naysay or put down each other for what we like or what we don't like. It's a lot more wholesome. A lot less tiresome. Like a lot of other. Just Warhammer alone, you can see that. The discourse in Warhammer. How many people fight and argue with each other. And you don't get it in Gundam. Do not get it. Which is what I like. Which is what I like for Gundam. Which I want to hopefully be part more of. Is be part more of the Gundam community. Because, yeah, for Warhammer 1 is toxic. On both sides. Absolutely toxic. Yeah, I hope we can share more love. Definitely. Definitely. It's like, even take this. Yeah, it's not Gundam, but it's Playmo. Everyone loves it. Even then, yeah, you still, like I say, Gundam, you don't get nowhere near as much discourse like you do with other fandoms, like, say, Star Wars or Warhammer or anything like that. But for Westerns do like to drag their stuff in and try and ruin it for everyone else, which does annoy me a lot. That's the main thing about Gundam. Yeah. That's it. That's what I love about Gundam. Yeah, it's about war, politics and stuff like that, but it is about trying to understand each other. That's the whole point of new types. Try to understand each other better. So we can be better people to each other. Never mind. will do. That goes on top like so. What's going on here? I put it on the wrong way around. Like so. There we go. Then this goes on here. When you get, there we go. And this here slots into the back there, like so. Got this really cool. Because it twists there, but it should also twist here as well. There we go. That's better. There we are. Nah, he's getting. God, he's heavy. He's very heavy. Right. He is a heavy boy. Alrighty then. I think I shall call it a day there today. Thank you for joining me, Eok, and others who popped in and out. It has been fun. I've enjoyed our conversation, and I hope you have too. I shall... Oh, thank you, Eok. It's been a pleasure, man. It's great talking to others, especially from others around the world. I love it. And I shall be on again Monday at my time will be 8 PM. So that'll probably be a bit too early for you, but for others who else want to join.